Okay, I'm going to share some intel. My eyes are really, really burning. I'd have a fire because, you know, mid-April, what do you expect? And the fires always make my eyes even more burned. The smoke. So the smoke and the light is just killer on my eyes. So, anyways, but there was some intel I wanted to share. And so anybody who remembers back when Trump went on that tour, when he very first became president and stuff, and they were making fun of him, like he had no manners, he didn't know what to do, and all of the stuff that they were saying. And, you know, I mean, when I was on that side, I thought like, I just thought he was kind of a doofus. I just thought he was just a rich doofus. I didn't really know that much about him. And, you know, I just thought he was kind of egomaniac kind of guy. And so when they were going around saying, you know, he was doing all this stupid stuff, I wasn't surprised. I was like, well, you know, I don't know why I would think like, oh, he probably hasn't traveled much. It's like, he probably travels all the time. He knows the fucking rules. And, but whatever, they get us to believe stuff. They have a way, they know how to spin stuff. I mean, they've been studying us for so long. I mean, they have branches of the government just studying us. So, they know what to do and how to direct us in our thinking. So anyways, when Charlie Freak put out that video that talked about behind the narrative, like they're saying this, but what really this means, like if he does a sword dance, that what it really means. And so he went through, if you didn't get to see that video, I don't know if you could still find it, but I would think, you know, it was a Charlie Freak, I don't remember the name of it, but it's a long video. It's like a documentary, and it's really, really good. So in that, when he walked in front of the Queen, that had significance because he was delivering all of these packets from the NSA with evidence, telling people you're going to have to choose a side here. You're busted. You're done for. And depending on everybody's crime, you know, it was all individual. But some people turned on other people. That's why it's really hard to know who's a double agent and stuff. Because this is a super complex war that they have going on, you know, trying to take power away from people who've had power the whole time. So, but they've used it, you know, badly. They've used it to destroy us. So, you know, they're sneaky and they have no empathy for us. So anyways, there was a whole significant thing about the Queen. And then if you were watching Charlie Ward back then, like I was watching, that's when I first found out about Charlie Ward, was, and he was having interviews with this guy who had made a claim towards the crown in England. And so I was watching a lot of his stuff, and there was all sorts of stuff broken down. I mean, he had been to court so much, there was so much paperwork. And that is when I really started finding out, because, you know, they always make it like a pure bloodline. But then you listen to him and it's like, oh my God, like the Queen is the maid's child. I mean, it's not anything what we're sold. And so, you know, but when you find out, like the crown is like, so the rich people could have control over us. So it's an extension, just like the Vatican. All of the things are just extensions of the beast. So the Queen has a real significance to this whole situation, just like on the chessboard. The Queen has a real significance, right? So right now, you know, and so when Trump walked in front of her, that was to show she had no power anymore. She was done for. And I think after that is when she left the Buckingham Palace, because there were so many people who were going and getting footage, and it was already closed. They'd already taken off the crest off of the gate, and the windows were all closed. There was no guards. It was, you know, showing. And then when they got the cover of the Dovik, then they said, oh, well, she had to go to a safe place and we had to move her. So then they at least said that they weren't there. And then they said she was somewhere else. But I think she was already put to death somewhere in here, because then there was all sorts of footage where they would say like it was her out, but it was like she kept wearing the same clothes. There's all sorts of things. And that's where they mess up on the CGI and stuff. They think that we're just not paying attention, but so many people are paying attention now. That's why it's the Great Awakening, because everybody's paying attention. And so people start catching those little things that we didn't catch before. Like when somebody comes out and they look like somebody and they sound like them, then we just accept it as them. We don't question it. But we needed to be questioning this shit because it's not always the person they pretend to be. So, I mean, Joe has shown us that like in the biggest way. But so she I think she was already put to death all the way back then. And when you go in and you listen to like conspiracy stuff, like there was a whole thing about Prince Philip that he was already dead, and then they held it off, and then when they announced his death, then they said he was dead. It aligned with what I was hearing, what they were gonna do. And so I think it's been the same thing with the Queen. It was the same thing with RBG. There's certain deaths that they hold it back because they want it to have like an effect. They use them like bombs or something. I mean, just like right now, I swear to God, I don't think it's a coincidence that I turn on the TV and it's fucking Johnny and Amber, Johnny and Amber, Johnny and Amber. I mean, a week ago it was Chris and Will, Chris and Will, Chris and Will. And it was Johnny and Amber. It's like they just use celebrities to try and distract us. And then especially ones where they think that people care still, like when Jennifer Aniston was so popular. And now like the stuff would pop up about her. And it's like, nobody gives a shit. Like, you know, but they try and pull us in with this like, oh, well, they liked her before. They're going to want to see. And, you know, but people are just like, no, we're concerned with our survival at this point. We don't care. We recognize that there's people who are not there for us. So, yeah, they're doing something like that with the Queen, but, you know, it wasn't even there. You know, they shouldn't have even been in the palace to begin with. Like, they're placed just like presidents and stuff. Like, it's all shady. So, you know, she was supposedly moved and now they've opened everything back up and she's not gone back to the palace. But the weird thing is, so the intel thing I saw today was on Nicholas Veneman, I think is how you say it, his show. And he had a guy who, and I swear I've seen that guy on Charlie Ward's thing a long time ago, but he was talking about that his friend has been the person who has, for the royal funeral, they have a whole big setup. And they have been the ones who had like they came out and prepaid 20 years ago. And then, you know, but they keep these people alive forever. They just transfer them, I swear, from one body to another. I don't know what all they do, but there's weird stuff they do. But so they already had her funeral stuff already set up. And they go out every year and they inspect it and they go through it and look at it. Well, this year, they just did it a couple weeks ago or something, and they came out, they wanted everything redone, they wanted it painted, they wanted it clean, they wanted it moved. And he said, something's going on. And so the thought is that they're about to announce that she is gone. And that is a big thing on the letter. When the Queen is dead, that is a big marker. And you think about it like on the chessboard too. When the Queen is dead, that's a big marker. So I think it's a huge marker. And this guy, like, I don't know. I can just say it. I mean, it's his. I mean, it's just so many people talking about Nasera now. But he said he thinks that's when they will put everything. If everybody's distracted looking at this funeral, which they'll make it a world-dominated event, that's when they'll do something with the money. And it could, because something with the money too, has got to put this quantum computer system in effect. So there's going to be some stuff like, I don't know if, I mean, there's so many different people have said so many different things, like everything is going to go down and, you know, who knows? Everything has gone so much slower than expected and not that much drama, really. It's just more tedious and frustration. But they said, this guy was saying the military is very aware right now how everybody is just at their wits' end and they don't want to cause more fear and take down the system or something. So I don't know. I'm just expecting, you know, something's coming. Oh, yeah. And you know what else he said? He was talking about, you know, the guy who Putin's fighting. I don't even want to say his name because I bet you I bet you that's the one that tags you. But he is, he makes $11 million a month. He has like a, I don't know, $100 billion mansion or something on an island or something. I don't know. All of the stuff he has in this poor, poor country. And I don't know how to say his name, but Cheese. He told me how to say his name, but anyways, he is over. I've talked about him before. He's over at the border of Ukraine and Poland, and he was talking about when they were saying that there was all this stuff going on. He said there was just tons and tons of really rich, fancy cars going in, and this guy was talking about over there. It's so poor. Most people make $300 a month. Well, so the president's making 11 million a month or something. Most people are making $300 or $400 a month, living off of that. But there's all of these now. If you go there, there's all of these Mercedes and stuff around. And then I had shared the one video where it showed the different places that have all the labs over there. And it's like all of the testing is being done over there. It's a lot, you know, like here where I'm at in Microsoft, where we're the test beta center, you know, over there it is the labs. And it's bad. And I know that's why he went in, you know, fighting to take him out and draw attention to this stuff. And but if this is the big move, you know, that they say that she is, and we're going to have the funeral, that's a big move on our side. It's something, well, once that's announced, that's a big move for us. So I don't know, you know, what will happen next or anything. We just got to keep our eyes open, and you know, who knows, it'd probably just be like a little puff like everything else, like but there is some really bad stuff happening in different places, and I don't want to discount it, you know. I mean, here where I'm at, it's sucky as shit. I mean, it's like freezing cold temperatures, this frequency stuff, I just know that they're doing stuff, and it's you know, it's fucked. But there's other people, you know, going through all sorts of things. So I know everybody's going through a lot of stuff. So, you know, I don't want to just say like it's just dragging, but you know, I mean, most people are at their wits' end. Like I've just reached their limit. Like they just reached their limit. And so hopefully, you know, the alliance or whatever, hopefully there is big moves happening, and we're going to see some big stuff start to change. And I think, you know, that is when there's going to be so many people out looking for explanations and understanding of stuff. So, you know, it is a good idea, you know, for these channels to start being out there for people to find information, because there's going to be so many people out looking for information soon. I mean, mass, because there's so many people, you know, who don't understand how really complex all the lies are. They think there's just one thing and then just this thing. And, you know, once they see, no, it's your whole life. That one guy who keeps coming in, and every time I put anything on the flat, finally I blocked him. And he'll probably start another account. It was really, really kind of creepy, because he keeps coming in and saying stuff. It's like, dude, you've already said this to me 100 times. I don't care. It's your reality. You think the Earth's a globe? Okay, good for you. And so he, you know, kept coming in and saying stuff. So I went to look at his page, and his bio is just to talk to, haha, flat earth person. I knew that you would come and look me up. It's like this, your whole thing that you're doing with your life is to try and go against people who say that flat earth. I mean, how bizarre. And so anyways, I blocked him, but he seems like the kind of guy who probably has 10 accounts doing the same shit. So I'm sure just another one will pop up, and he'll come in trying to start fights with people and argue about other people's beliefs. It's like, dude, let people have their beliefs. Who cares? It has no effect on you. What difference does it make? What shape I think the earth is? It's like such nonsense. And, but anyways, I was just really hoping that this is a big marker, and, you know, that it is a big, I don't know all the moves, but I think when the queen goes down, I think then it's like checkmate, I think we're at the end of the game. That's all I know. So hopefully so. You know, but stay safe and be prepared, because there is going to be a lot of people wanting a lot of answers really soon. So talk to you later. Bye.